Hi, this is Pastor Sharon, and welcome to Nourishment for Your Soul. I'm going to bring a couple people in, and then we're going to start our lesson today. And our lesson is don't let fear and rebellion cause you to miss out on what God has for you. And just give me a couple more people. And then I am going to start. God bless you all for joining. I guess I probably should have did a watch party, but I didn't. Okay. I hope you can see me. That's good that you can see me. Okay, you gotta excuse where I am now because of this nonsense that's going on. I have company, so I have to be in a different type of room. So, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, everyone, God bless you. Again, welcome to Nourishment for Your Soul. Hey, Martin, how you doing? We're going to talk about not allowing... I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my camera together. I ordered a new phone, so the video production should be a whole lot better now. Our topic today is don't let fear and rebellion, hey Dion, get you out of the blessings that God has for you and out of position. So we're going to be quick tonight because I know, a lot of us have probably been home all day long and you don't want to be on watching your phone. So we're going to be quick. And I just welcome everybody. We're going to start from Esther, the book of Esther, which is in the Old Testament. And it's not a coincidence, but this is also the season for Purim. Hey, cuz. And Purim is the festival of the story of Queen Esther. And as you know, Queen Esther was the queen of Babylon, and she was Artaxerxes' wife. And the situation was the Jews were about to be annihilated. And Queen Esther fasted and prayed for 3 days along with the other Jews, and they were able to overturn the law, and the Jews were not annihilated. It's a lot to this story, and maybe one day I'll do a teaching on Esther. But I want to just bring this point out. So if you would just bear with me, I want to talk about Queen Vashti. Now, Queen Vashti was the queen before Esther. Okay, Queen Vashti. They don't really talk about Queen Vashti much. They just give a couple of lines, and I'm talking about Esther chapter 2. Esther chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 10. Yeah, I'm going to start at verse 10. They don't really talk much about Vashti. We don't know where she came from, really. We just know that she was the queen before Esther, and Esther was her predecessor. Okay, we know that Vashti lost her authority, her being a queen, because of her rebellion against the king. So she lost her place. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how we can't lose our place because of rebellion. And, the interesting thing about this is Queen Vashti didn't want to obey the king. So she lost her place, and she was taken, and being a queen, that authority was taken away from her. And the same thing could have happened to Esther. So we're going to just talk about that. And it relates to us, okay, as children of God. Because of this nonsense with this coronavirus thing and all these things that are happening, there's a lot of homelessness going on, a lot of people being put out of shelters. I mean, there's a lot of chaos and havoc going on. And we cannot allow ourselves to be afraid. We can't. Honestly, I'm talking about myself now. I have not, they shut down a town in my area. They asked the people to self quarantine because of 18 cases. Really? How many cases of the flu do we get? How many cases of AIDS did we have? And we gonna do all this for a virus? Let's not be manipulated and tricked by the enemy. Okay? Don't let them play with your head. This thing, I know it can be scary. But we're not going to let ourselves be afraid. We're not going to let ourselves be frightened into not doing what God has caused us to do. Now let's look at Queen Vashti. So this is Esther chapter 1. And these names are a little difficult, so forgive me if I mispronounce. So I'm starting at verse 10. This is Esther chapter 1, starting at verse 10. Let me give you a little background. This is the king, and he's having a real big party. A real bash. Their parties were not like our parties. Our parties are a couple of hours. Their parties are days long. So he's having a days long party. And all of the other princes and dukes and knights and all types of royalty from different countries, they're all coming out to party with King Artaxerxes. Okay? So check this out. This is Esther chapter 1 starting at verse 10. Now this party's been going on for a while, because listen to this. It says, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine. So it took them 7 days to get like drunk and feeling nice. He commanded Mehuman, Bizhah, Habona, Bigatha, and Abaktha, Zethar, Carcass, and 7 eunuchs who served in the presence of King Artaxerxes. Now these are the people who work for him. Okay, and these people are Babylonians. Their names are a little hard to pronounce, so forgive me for that again. Verse 11, to bring Queen Vashti before the king with her royal crown, in order to show the people and the princes her beauty. So what he was really trying to do is he's trying to show off his queen. She was very beautiful. We do know that. And on the 7th day, now these people have been partying and drinking hard for 7 days. Okay. So on the 7th day, he gets his eunuchs. Those are the people that are employed to watch after the king's harem. He got his eunuchs and he told them to go get Queen Vashti with her crown. So now this crown is not like a little piece of gold. This thing must be fabulous. And she must have had on some really fabulous clothing. So he wanted her to get to come to the festival. Because back then, the men and the women didn't really party together. They partied separately. So the king wanted Queen Vashti to come so he can show her off, to show everyone, hey, this is what I got. My girl is so beautiful. Okay, that was one of those kind of things. So check this out. Verse 12, but Queen Vashti refused to come to the king's command, delivered by the eunuchs. So the eunuchs came and told her, listen, the king is summoning you. Put on your clothes, let's go. And she's like, I'm not coming. At the end, so at this, the king became enraged and his anger burned within him. So he's mad. You know why? Because first of all, he's embarrassed. He is the king. And listen, he's not the king of a little area. He's a king of Babylon. And back in those days, if we know anything about history, Babylon was a huge kingdom. So he's king over a huge area. He's king because people are afraid of him and his army. And now he's telling his woman to come so he can show off, and he can't even control his own household. So he's hot, and he's got to do something about that, right? He cannot let that continue. So this is verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men who knew the times, for this was the king's procedure toward all who were versed in the law and judgment. So he went to his lawyers, in other words, to find out what he can do about this situation. The men next to him were Karshena, Shethath, Admartha, Tarshish, Meres, Marcina, and Mekunin, the 7 princes of Persia and Medes. So it's like it was a conglomerate of who ruled this particular area because it was so vast. So he's consulting with these lawyer princes who had stake in the country, stake in the land, who had ruling authority. So he's consulting with them to see what he can do about this matter. Okay, I guess for some reason he couldn't kill her, so he figured he'd go to his lawyers and have her punished. So now I'm at verse 15. According to the law, what is to be done to Queen Vashti because she has not performed the command of the king Xerxes, delivered by the eunuchs, when Mecham said to the presence of the king and the officials, not only against the king has Vashti done wrong, but also against all the officials and all the people who are in the providence of King Artaxerxes. So what he's saying is she didn't only do the king wrong, but she did disservice to everyone in that area. Okay. Verse 17, for the queen's behavior will be made known to all women, causing them to look at their husbands with contempt, since they will say King Artaxerxes commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, and she did not come. This very day the noble women of Persia and Mede, who have heard of the queen's behavior, will say the same to all the king's officials, and there will be contempt and wrath in plenty. If it please the king, let a royal order go out from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, so that it may not be repealed, and Vashti is never again to come before King Artaxerxes, and let the king give her royal position to another who is better than she. So, because of that one thing, she lost her authority, okay? Because of her disobedience, she lost her authority. And this is what I feel that God is saying to all of us. Let's not be disobedient in this time. Let's not lose our authority. Okay? Because one act of disobedience that caused, listen, she wasn't just being disobedient to the king. This thing had a rippling effect. And when we are called to do something for the Lord, we got to look at it as we're not just doing one thing that may inconvenience us at the time, but it could have a rippling effect. Okay? So, that's what happened to Vashti. So now we heard that the rule was that her position is to be given to someone else. So now the king, he does like a search, like a talent search, so to speak, but a queen search. So he's going out amongst all the kingdoms that he rules over, and he's looking for a wife. Okay? He's looking for a woman, a new queen. Okay? So now chapter 2 is where Esther appears. Okay? And this is what happens. Now, Esther, I want you to know, is a Jew. And nobody knows that she's a Jew. So she decides, it's not decided for her. But she is actually picked to be in the king's harem. And then from there, she's actually picked to be the queen. So now she is taking Vashti's place. This is Queen Esther. She's now in Vashti's place. But there's something interesting that I want to bring out to your attention. Because this is something that we have to understand. And I know back in the day, people would say, well, nobody can do your job. That's not true. Don't you ever think that God is relying on one person to do something for him, okay? Let's not be foolish. God got a replacement for you if you don't want to do what you're supposed to do. He has a quick replacement. Just like King Artaxerxes had a replacement, don't you think God has a replacement? If you want to be disobedient, if you don't want to do what God has called you to do you think he's going to sit there and go, oh my God, what am I going to do? No, he got a plan C, D, E, F, and G. Are you kidding me? God is not waiting on us like that. We have to be quick to obey. If God has called us to do something in our lives, to do something for someone in our life, we need to obey. Because God got a plan. He has the plan. He is the master of planning. And if we sit there thinking that the sun and the moon evolve around us, that's the wrong thought pattern right there. And we soon find this out here. I want to tell you, okay, here, let me go. Okay. Now here, we in chapter 4. Now I fast forwarded a little bit. We're in chapter 4. And this is Esther. Okay. Now, she doesn't know what's really going on because she's in the palace. And she has an uncle, and her uncle's name, I'm giving you the fast version. Her uncle's name is Mordecai. And Mordecai kind of works in the kingdom. Let's say he's a duke or something. He has some type of authority, but a small amount of authority. And no one knows that they're related. So here it is. Mordecai comes to Esther. Okay, because he has to go through her eunuchs, her servants. He can't just walk up on her. So he's coming through her eunuchs and servants. And I would advise you to read Esther. Not a long book, but I'm trying to give you the short version. And it says here, I'm in Esther chapter 4. I want to just pinpoint where I'm supposed to be at. So Mordecai he tells Esther, he finally gets in touch with her. He finally gets the eunuchs to tell her to come downstairs so he can talk to her. So he's talking to her and he tells her the plot of Haman. Now, Haman is somebody who really had a problem with the Jews. Okay? I could go into more, but we don't have a lot of time. But he had a problem with the Jews, and especially a problem with Mordecai, because Mordecai wouldn't bow to him. And he felt that he was deserving to be someone to bow to him and give him like ultimate respect. And Mordecai just wouldn't do it. So he had a problem with that. So Haman said, you know what, listen, I'm going to destroy Mordecai and all of his relatives. So Mordecai is a Jew. So he decided that he was going to put an order out, a decree out. And he did it by tricking the king to destroy all the Jews. So this is what Mordecai's problem is. And this is what he's coming to Esther with. Okay, so now, okay, okay. I'm at Esther chapter 4. I'm at verse 12. Now, Mordecai has told Esther everything, right? Now, Esther is a queen, right? She's actually, she came from humble beginnings. She was an orphan. Mordecai is actually the one who raised her. So now, from those humble beginnings, she is now queen, okay, of Babylon, a very, very rich and powerful nation. Okay, the people that she is related to, all the Jews, are about to be massacred by Haman, who is a lesser person in the kingdom. He's like a prince, a lower class prince. Okay, so now Mordecai comes to her and he says to her, this is verse 12. Esther said, okay, let me just tell you this part. Esther said that she wasn't sure if she could help. You know why? Because the decree had gone out that if the queen were to go to the king unannounced, that she could be killed. And she was afraid for her life. See, that's that fear that came in. See, we were talking about rebellion with Vashti. Now we're talking about fear with Esther. Okay, so now Esther is afraid that if she goes and confronts the king or goes and tries to say something to the king, that she will be killed. So she's afraid. Okay, so now this is what happens. Verse 12. And they told Mordecai, this is the eunuchs telling Mordecai, they told Mordecai what Esther had said. 13. Then Mordecai told them to reply to Esther. And this is what he said. He said, do not think to yourself that in the king's palace you will escape any more than all the other Jews. For if you keep silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. This is what I believe the Lord is telling us. You know, this coronavirus is a terrible thing. People have lost their lives. And it's, you know, families are hurting and things like that. But listen, we as people who know the Lord, okay, this is the time when we're supposed to pray. This is the time when we tell them that we got the answer. The answer is Yeshua. There is no other answer. Okay, I don't care what kind of scientists and what kind of medicine they have. All of that is nothing compared to our God. None of that. Because, you know, medicine can work and sometimes it doesn't work. But God always works. Hope and faith is what we have to offer people at this time. This is the time. This is the time right now where we can say to people, listen, it's not bad. God has a plan. You're going to get through this. We're going to survive. We're going to live. Because you know what? God says so. God says so. He said we will live and not die and declare his glory. We got to believe that. Okay? I don't understand why a lot of things are happening the way they are. But we as children of God, okay, fine, we can't congregate more than 10 people. We can't be in churches and things like that. But you know what you got? Where I'm at. Prayer closet. You got a prayer closet. Prayer is the most powerful thing on this earth. Prayer saves souls. Prayer moves men's hearts. Prayer is powerful. Pray. You can't do nothing else. Pray. When you do see somebody in the supermarket, in the street, and they looking sad, you can say, listen, there is hope. It's going to get better. Life is going to get better. Prayer. This is why I'm in the closet today, because it's my prayer closet. It's a regular old closet. There's nothing fancy about this closet. If I turn this camera around, y'all be like, oh my God. Prayer. That's all you got to do. Pray. Don't miss this time. We have been called to this time, y'all. We can pray. God is the one that moves the hearts of men. God is the one who gives these scientists ideas and gives them the revelation of the antidote. Don't you think that they get it on their own? How is man wise? We know for ourselves men are stupid. We already know that. How many stupid mistakes have you made? So it's not them, it's God. So we just need to pray for this to pass. Pray for the answer, the antidote to come. Pray for this to subside with minimal damage. Okay, minimal damage. People are losing money left and right in their stocks. We need to pray for that. God has the answer, and that's just all I wanted to say. Let's not be like Vashti and be in rebellion, and let's not be like Esther, who's afraid. We have been called for such a time as this. Check that out. Both of them was royalty. One got out of her position because of disobedience, rebellion, and another one was about to lose her position because of fear. We're not going to lose our positions. We are kings and queens of the Most High God. We know the answer. The answer is Him. We're going to tell people. We're going to pray. We're going to fast. We're going to do what we're supposed to do, what we've been called to do. Because you know what? Whenever there's an attack this heavy, let's look at tuberculosis. Let's look at all these other diseases. When there was attacks like this, their revival was insane. People gave their life to the Lord like you just don't even understand. People were healed. All kind of magnificent things have happened after situations like this. We can't give up hope. We got to keep pushing forward. We got to know that Yeshua is the answer. And there is no other. There is no other. There's no other answer. Because if it was another answer, we'd have figured it out already, right? So there's no other answer. He is the answer. So I want y'all to be healthy, stay well, and keep remembering that He is the answer. Keep hope. Know that this thing is going to pass. And when it passes, we're going to be on top. Why? Because we believe in the Most High. We believe in Yeshua Messiah. We know that He is God. And He has given us a opportunity right now to have faith. You know, the Bible talks about God is looking through the earth to see the men who have faith. He asked the question, is there anyone who has faith on the earth? We're going to say, yes, God, we got faith. Because we're going to show our faith through prayer, through fasting, through telling other people, through giving them hope. We have faith. We believe. We're not going to let our hearts fail because of fear. That devil is a lie. We ain't going to be afraid of nothing. Why? Because you know what? The Psalm 91 sums it up. 1,000 may fall on your left side, but what is it? And 100 on your right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get off the YouTube, so I can't remember the scripture. But I remember this part. But it will not come thy you. Only with your eyes will you see the reward of the wicked. Not saying that these people are wicked that are passing. I'm just saying that you are protected according to Psalm 91. So listen, I messed that scripture up. So go read Psalm 91 for yourself. Don't sit here and take my word for it. Study it out. Read the book of Esther. Read Psalm 91. Know it for yourself. I'm just here to give you a taste. A little taste. So you can go and get a meal. Amen. God bless y'all. Nourishment for your soul.